Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Hey, it's Friday. What a different week. I've totally enjoyed this week. I feel the Lord has spoken to me through Psalm 119. I hope He has done the same for you. On Friday here, I just wanted to go back and mention the need for being still before the Lord. When Jesus was troubled, for instance, the night before He was betrayed and then crucified, where did He go? He went off to a garden to be alone by Himself. He took the couple of the apostles with Him, but He said, wait here. I want to go off by myself and pray. I take that as a great example that God wants us to get alone and quiet before Him often. And so that's what I've learned this week. Maybe God has said something different to you. I don't know. That's great too. But I have really enjoyed this week because I enjoy looking at the ocean and seeing. I always feel like God's creation is unique to each wave. And so that's how I view it. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. We're going to finish up this week reading some more Psalms, and then enjoy the time-lapse sunset that I filmed early in the week. Again, I did it because God shows His artistry in every sunset and every sunrise. Enjoy the rest of the show today, and I'll see you next week. As I look out on the waves, I'm reminded of a couple of passages that I want to read for us today that bring it home that the Lord is in control of even the waves and even of the oceans. What passage comes to your mind when we say that? I'll bet it's maybe the same one that I was thinking of. It comes from the book of Matthew in chapter 8. And Jesus is getting into the boat, and there's going to be a big storm, but not too big for Him. Matthew records it, and he was there. He was an eyewitness. So this is not hearsay. This is actual account of what happened. Matthew writes at chapter 8, verse 23, then Jesus got into the boat, and His disciples followed Him. Without warning, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus, He was sleeping. The disciples went and woke Him, saying, Lord, save us. We're going to drown. And He replied, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? And then He got up, He rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, what kind of a man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey Him. Wow. Can you imagine? Have you ever been in a storm on the ocean? Have you ever been tossed about? I did a lot of small cruise cabin cruises when I was growing up. My grandparents owned one, and we went often to Catalina. And one time we got in a massive storm, and this small plane circled us the whole way to Avalon just to make sure that we made it and okay. And meanwhile, my grandmother and I just sitting there praying the whole time. Our boat, which was probably, I'm guessing 35 feet as I remember it, It was as if we were a cork, just a small thing in a big, big ocean. And yet the Lord saw us through. In this case, he didn't calm the storm, but he made sure our boat made it. And I was so thankful. But I know how those men must have felt. And when Jesus calmed the storm, they were some of them were fishermen. They were amazed. They had never seen anything like it. And that's because he is God. God himself. He always has been, and he's always been in charge of it. I go back another 1,000 years prior to the Gospels being written. And in Psalm 93, it says this: the Lord reigns. He is robed in majesty. The Lord is robed in majesty and armed with strength. The world is firmly established. It cannot be moved. Your throne, O Lord, was established long ago. You are from all eternity. And here's the part where he talks about the seas and the ocean. It starts at verse 3 of Psalm 93. And he says, the seas have been lifted up, O Lord. The seas have lifted up their voice. The seas have lifted up their pounding waves, but mightier than the thunder of the great waves, mightier than the breakers of the sea. The Lord on high is mighty. Your statutes stand firm. Holiness adorns your house for endless days, O Lord. Yes, the psalmist knew that the seas were controlled by the Lord. Everything is. But that's why I'm fascinated with it. I hope you've enjoyed this week. It's been a week that I've totally enjoyed myself, because I know that even in the waves that I watch, the Lord created those using the winds usually, but he makes everyone just right. Jesus controlled the waves, and he can control the things that are happening in your life. Be sure you turn to him. Don't go through life without Jesus on your side. It's just not worth it. It's too hard. It's too hard. And I think if I got anything from this week, I got the fact that I need to follow the Lord. Follow him. Read his word. Life might have some difficulties, but he will see me through those difficulties. We're going to go ahead and enjoy this sunset that I filmed. It was a blessing to me. The sun is just a small dot on the far end of the horizon behind the clouds, but you watch it carefully, you'll see it going down, which means it's coming up somewhere else in the world, and they're enjoying that next day, and our next day will come too. Thanks for being with me this week. I look forward to seeing you again next week. We're going to do something different then too, but the thing that'll stay the same is the Lord. He is God, and he is in control. Let's trust in him. God bless. See you next week.